Hello friends, it's Cindy Brumbaugh from CindyLeeBDesigns.com, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Today I have a masculine card for you using a new set that'll be in our January to June 2021 mini catalog. It is called the Well Suited Suite, but it contains the stamp set bundle called the Handsomely Suited bundle, and it's got the Handsomely Suited stamp set along with the suit and tie dies. Oh, look at those dies and the lapel. Really fun things in there. You can make suspenders, haha. So Handsomely Suited is what the stamp set that is in that well-suited suite. I kept calling this the well-suited stamp set, but it's Handsomely Suited. It also has a beautiful designer series paper called the Well-Suited Designer Series paper. It's got beautiful bright blue Pacific Point, but you've got the navy, you've got the basic gray. So some really great masculine suit tweeds, paisleys, pinstripes, and then you've got really great, what I am considering like tie colors. That would make a great shirt too. So beautiful colors here. I'm choosing this as the paper I'm going to be using for my tie, and this is actually Poppy Parade because the Poppy Parade is one of the colors that's in the designer series paper. It looks like a poppy here. This really doesn't look very poppy-ish to me, but we're going to be using that paper, and this suite also comes with 2 spools of twine, and they're in basic gray and night of navy. So you've got a whole suite to play with there. So we're going to put these aside and take a closer look at the card here. I wanted to create some texture on my suit here. So what I did is did some scoring, basic scoring, super easy. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So you're going to start out with a piece of, okay, let's just start with our card base. Now all the measurements, colors, products I use are on my blog site, but they're also in this YouTube description. Right underneath the YouTube video, there's a description. All the things are there, but there's also a place at the end of the paragraph that says visit my blog here. Press that link. It'll take you over to CindyLeeBDesigns.com. You'll have additional photos and little tidbits that I'll share with you. So here we go. Poppy Parade for our card base, because I'm pulling that Poppy Parade from the tie. And then look how neat it does popping off of that Night of Navy suit right there. So this is a half sheet of our cardstock, 11 inches by 4 1/4, and I'm scoring it at 5 1/2. 11 by 4 1/4, scored at 5 1/2. And that makes a portrait card, A2 size card that fits into our A2 sized envelopes. Now I'm going to be using Night of Navy, and this piece here that I'm going to cut the suit out of is 4 inches by 5 1/4. And then that also is the Whisper White that's in the inside. Now Whisper White is leaving Stampin' Up's inventory, but we have a new white coming in called Basic White, and we will keep you up to date whenever that Basic White is coming in. It's going to be a wonderful new addition there. We're going to have Basic Black and Basic White. So that is going to be the inside of our card, 4 by 5 1/4. Okay, so to get started here, now with this Night of Navy, I had this 4 inches. Now I knew then I could go 1/2 inch increments to make the pinstripes on the suit. So what I did is before I did any die cutting, I just brought my trimmer out and I put my cutting blade, the dark blade, up at the top. Then I took the 4 inch side and put it up against the top of the trimmer, and I put the left side at 2. And when I put it at 2, of course, the groove then is halfway in between the 4 inches. So what I did was just take my gray, light gray scoring, and I just put a little bit of a score in the bottom of it. And then that let me know that's the middle mark of the 4 inches. So then I just moved my trimmer off there. I brought this die back that cuts the opening to the suit jacket. It's like a B here. So when you look at this in the catalog, you wonder, what is that? So what I did is I just took and I put that die right with the point down here where the score line is, and then I just made sure my die was up a little above the paper so it would cut through the paper, and then I could eyeball, because when you go to put this on, if you're going to do the suit pocket on the suit, you are going to move it over to one side or the other, but this way you kind of have a better chance of getting it exactly in the middle if you do it this way. And so then I just ran it through the die cutting machine, and this V right here just pops right out of there. And then I can make my little pinstripes on the suit. So this is going to be a great stamp set for the guys in your life. So what I'm doing is I'm going to go 1/2 inch increments. So I'm going to take the left side and put it at 1/2, making sure I'm using my scoring blade, the light blade, so I'm not cutting through my paper. So you go 1/2, then you go to 1, and then you go to 1 1/2, and then your score at 2 is already finished, and then you go to 2 1/2, and then to 3, and 3 1/2, and now you've got your pinstripes done on your suit. Okay, so there is our suit here. This die here cuts out the lapel. So we have our lapel, but we need to get our white shirt inside there. So let's get a piece of white here. And I cut this to 3 inches by 5 because I knew it would cover that opening. So what we're going to do is put some, now on this card we used a necktie. On this card we're going to do a bow tie. So what we're going to do is turn over so that the back side of the scoring is here. I'm going to use my adhesive. Now, if you are using the necktie and you want to slip this necktie in, don't put any adhesive around the bottom of the V because you want to be able to tuck the tie in. But since I am actually using the bow tie on this one, I can go ahead and do that. So now I'm just going to line up right there, get the left and the right, flush with the white on the shirt. Oh, now see, I just realized I should have left a little space open here because I'm going to put this, what is that, the seam for the shirt. So I'm going to put some glue there. I just used that one die in the set that creates that seamed place where your buttons are. So technically, you should actually, I should have left that there, but I was lucky that I haven't really put that down too much. So just put that right in the middle, and we can put that up, going up on our shirt. So there you've got the seam on the shirt, and then we're just going to get our paper snips here and cut off. Actually, we might have to cut off more than I thought. So let's see here. This is going to be our lapel here. So that's there. So we're going to cut it right there. Now, of course, I haven't done this yet. You guys are seeing me do this for the first time. Haha. And then this is going to be our collar on our shirt. Now, on this card, you'll notice it's flat, whereas this one I ran this through the subtle embossing folder to give it a little bit of texture, but I wanted to see what it looked like with this one, so I'm just using this one flat. Okay, so I noticed that I have some glue here. So once this glue dries on here, I can come back with my adhesive remover. We don't carry these anymore in the catalog, but they are very, very useful. And that'll just get off that bit of glue when I'm doing this on the fly here, so I'm learning as we go. Okay, so the next thing we're going to be doing is putting this collar on, and that's that little die right here, and that cuts out the collar. Now you'll notice it's connected very, 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 just by a tiny, tiny thread right there. But we're going to put that onto the top of the card. But before we do that, I want to stick the actual suit onto our card base, our poppy card base. So let's go ahead and put some glue on the back of our suit and our shirt, and we'll put it right onto our poppy card base. Poppy card base, get a nice 1/8 border around, Okay, I think I'm shaking my table a little bit there. Okay, now we can put on our collar. So like I said, this one did actually come apart on me, but that's okay. And then you can just play around if you want it to go a little bit above, how far you want it to go. I'm going to actually put it so that it's right in between the V and line up. But then I just realized I have a little bit too much here. So let me just cut a little snippet off here again. All right. Note to self, when you are actually making a video, don't just make it as you go. But isn't that how we do that? Okay, so there we go. I don't want the top of that showing on the, so then you just put, there's no doubt this is a bit tedious a little bit, but it's so worth it in the end because it's such a cute die set here. So then we've got our collar on here and we've got our crooked seam. That's not their fault, that's my fault. And then we want to put our lapel on. Okay, so we'll just put some glue on the back of this lapel, being careful not to tear because it actually has it's connected very small amount of cardstock there. And then we just line it up on one side and then the other side, and it just reaches right to the top and it's coming together. And once we get the bow tie on here, we won't notice where I have that off a little crooked there. Okay, so what's really cute here now, if I would have used the tie, I would have just covered, put it on there and tucked it down in there. And then you could also, there's two pieces, you could pop this up with a dimensional, like I did on here. So you can see that popping up here. But I wanted to use this small bow tie on this one. Now you'll notice in this set, there's this bow tie and this bow tie. So this little oval here, if you die cut it, it will fit this way on this bow tie. But on this chubby bow tie, it goes this way. So it's really a versatile die set there. So we're going to pop the little bow tie right at the top of right here. So since I popped up the inside, the middle of this bow tie, I'm not going to pop up the whole bow tie. And we're just going to put some glue on here. Like I said, we'll be able to cover up where I kind of got that a little bit off there. So we've got our cute little bow tie there on our card. So this one's kind of like, this is the more, let me see, this would be my middle son. This would be my older son. He'd be doing something a little crazy, and my reserved middle son would be doing the nice streamlined necktie there. So here we go. We're going to put a sentiment on here. Now this stamp set, like I said, has the Father's Day, but also has Happy Birthday to You. So that's great for any guy there. So what I did is I stamped it in Night of Navy, and then I'm using another new product that's in the January to June 2021 mini catalog. This is the double oval punch. Look at that. You can cut two. They're coordinated and they nest on top, layer on top of each other. So I'm going to use the smaller one that's down towards my thumb here to punch out the sentiment. Think of how many sentiments you have that are going to fit into this oval. Awesome. And then this bigger scallop, and it's really not a scallop, it's actually more like a pinking, like on pinking shears. So I like the fact on this card when I was making it, it's actually kind of not real feminine with the scallop. Like I tried to find a stitched die that would work, and I just really wasn't finding one until I looked at this and I'm like, oh, it's not going to fit in there. It's not going to fit in there. Oh my gosh, it did. I was so excited. Isn't it great when you find a sentiment that fits in a certain die you have? I think every stamp set should be made, every sentiment should fit in one of the dies. So there we go. We're just going to pop that onto the bottom of our card. So where did we put our dimensionals, Cindy? Okay, there we go. We're going to pop a couple dimensionals on this one, and I love that little bow tie. Actually, the chubby bow tie would have looked nice on there, but I actually kind of like how streamlined that that smaller one. And then there you go, there's your card. So the next thing we're going to do is just pop in on inside, and that's just 4 by 5 1/4. And all I did was I had a little piece of, okay, now he's blowing his nose. Okay, so I'm going to put a piece of the navy here, right on the bottom. And then I'm just going to put a little bead of glue right here. And I'm going to put that designer series paper there. Just a little strip that was left over when I was cutting my tie. And then I can just have the inside decorated a little bit. And I have to admit, when you look at there at the card, this blue on the designer with the poppy is Pacific Point, but I didn't feel like adding in another color at this point, so I just went with the navy, and I think it goes well because, you know, not everything's matchy-matchy all the time. So there we go. We'll put that on the inside. Get a nice 1/8 inch border around the side there. And I think my lines are straight there. And then we've decorated the inside. We've got two different ties on here from the Handsomely Suited stamp set with the dies and, the suit and tie dies. The suit and tie dies. Now we've got this little V here that cuts down the coat. So you could make women's jackets with this. You could, oh, there's so many things. I love this die here, not only for on the shirt, the seam on the shirt where the buttons are. Oh, we have to put our buttons on. That's what was missing. It also can be suspenders. You could put suspenders down, and then you have the little fasteners for the suspenders. So many neat things. And people have used this pocket, and when they put the pocket on, they've used the corner of the collar to make a pocket square. So what we're going to do here is we're going to put on our buttons. Okay. Oh, I'm so glad. I remember looking at this thinking there's just something missing. And I couldn't figure out why does it look so plain. So I'm going to get out my tweezers here, because these little buttons, you can cut 6 of them at one time, but they are small. And so I'm going to just grab them with my scissors, pop them on there, one more here. I'm just kind of eyeballing these buttons here. There we go. And then let's do one more here. Now, do you see how that jazzed up the card immensely? Aren't you glad we didn't forget that? Ha! Here I am bringing you down in my forgetfulness. So there we go, 2 different suit coats there. And you just added a little bit of texture by doing some scoring, and you created some pinstripes there. So thank you so much for taking time to take a look at this well-suited suite that has the Handsomely Suited bundle in it. I think you'll find a lot of fun things coming through on Pinterest here soon with this bundle. If you have any questions, you can always email me at cindyleeb@gmail.com. You can text me or call me at 724-323-2296. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. I appreciate it. Thanks for buzzing by, friends.